everyone. Fran Strickland here from Verolead Biz Solutions. Welcome to our inaugural kickoff for this platform, Tapping In with Verolead Biz Solutions. And I'm here today with Dr. Donna Smith Bellinger. Now, she's Dr. Donna to me because we've had a chance to get to know each other over several months now, and I am just enthralled with her insight and expertise in the key area that any business needs to be successful, and that's selling. So today we're going to get a chance to tap into her brilliance and hear how we can really optimize our selling systems so that we can be that sustainable, profitable business. So, Dr. Donna, welcome to my platform. I'm so happy to see you. How are you today?
Hi, hello, Fran, and thank you so much for sharing your platform with me. It's always an honor to be in your space because you're so brilliant. You are just so brilliant. And I'm ready to get rolling.
Okay. Well, I'd like you to start off by doing a little bit better of an introduction than I did. Tell us a little bit about your history and how you managed to get to the point you are today.
Okay, I've got a few miles under the belt. So there's a little bit of a story, a little bit of a backstory, and then I'll go through a couple of other things. So when I was in high school, well, right after graduating, I had my first child.
Mhm.
And when I had that child, my family, because this is back in the day when you just didn't do that, or as one of my mentees once said, "Oh, yeah, I heard that used to be a thing." Well, yeah, it was a thing. So my family disowned me. They told me that I'd be working the streets in 6 months and no good man would ever want me. So from that, and I have to thank a friend of mine for giving me this term, I took the stupid pill. Now, the stupid pill is when you're too stupid to realize what you should not be able to accomplish. So you do it anyway. And that's the way my life rolled. I realized through what other people saw in me that sales is my natural language. And so from that, I was able to move into an assistant director role without a degree in a vocational school. I spent 15 years working in trade and technical schools. Then eventually, I was sales manager and leader in a tech firm. And then after that, I wound up co founding a different tech firm. Through
Mhm.
all of those journeys, I realized that you must be able to communicate in the listening of the person you're addressing. Yes, there are foundational truths that you have to stick to. But if you want to be able to differentiate yourself from your competitors, and if you don't think you have any, just Google and you'll find out that there are tens of thousands of people who think they do what you do bigger, better, faster, stronger. So, how do you differentiate yourself from the herd, as Seth Godin would say?
Mhm.
And uh, the companies that now hire me
Mhm.
are companies that need to get more clients or they need to sell more to their existing clients. And as always, we need more referrals and repeat business. We have
Mhm.
to, have to, have to have that.
Mhm.
Far too often, we wind up having managers and directors who were promoted because they
Mhm.
were good at what they did, but
Mhm.
because they were leaders.
Okay.
So they don't know how to manage that knowledge transfer.
Mhm.
They don't know how to motivate and they don't know how to assess.
Mhm.
And that's where I come in with some of the skills that I offer to my clients.
Wow. Well, first of all, I applaud you to keep going. I mean, starting from a very tough position and to keep going. And you know what? I like the stupid pill. because I never wanted anyone to tell me what I couldn't do. I just go and do it. And so I am so delighted that you did that, because you did it, you're sitting here with me, and I've had a chance to really, learn from you. And now I know you're helping hundreds, thousands of other people. So I heard in that, in what you just shared, that there are some foundational principles that you kind of do your business with and live by. What is your core principle that guides everything that you do?
I have a mission statement, and I think that everyone should have not just a business mission statement, that politically correct statement that you make about your business, but also one that comes from here.
Hmm.
Because I've got two things to share. First of all, work is what you do to finance who you want to become, and through that, who you choose to serve. Work
Mm.
is what you do to finance who you want to become, and through that, who you choose to serve. No one ever took on an assignment, a challenge, a job to kill themselves to make somebody else's dream come true. All right.
Mm.
The
Hmm.
second is, my personal mission is that the work that I do has to affect more than the bottom line, because it's not the transaction, it's the
Hmm.
testimony.
Ah.
And any of us who are in business or in marketing and sales, we know what's your best lead.
Hmm.
It's a referral, it's a recommendation, it's a warm introduction.
Hmm.
And that comes from you being able to, another Donnaism, as my students call it, consistently communicate your competence, which is your value.
Hmm.
Because when you have a value driven conversation with a prospect, you want them at the end of that little chat. You don't want to have to say, "So, do you want to buy my widget?" No, you want them to say, "This is fascinating. So, how can we work together?" Or, I have somebody I want you to meet.
Yeah.
Those are the two statements that you're looking for after
Hmm.
you have those wonderful one to ones, those wonderful initial meetings.
Uh-huh. Wow. Wow. Well, we could stop now. I mean, if we could take those two principles and apply them consistently, we'd be sailing. But I know that we'd be back for more. So I want to just, for you to talk about now just what you have seen in some of your experiences working with these various companies and organizations and people. I mean, I hear you saying that you want to affect them in more than just, the bottom line. You really, really want to transform their experience as human beings and relating to other people. So tell me, how does that show up? Tell me about an example where you're like saying, yes, this is really what I've wanted to see happen.
I have so many stories, uh, because sales conversations affect not just the transaction, but also the way that you operate within your culture for your company or for your business.
Mhm.
It's so important. So, three things that sales leaders or business leaders need to
Mhm.
consider is, first of all, the mindset of the people that they put into those roles.
Mhm.
Are those people outcomes driven, or are they people pleasers? Because you have the people that we in the industry refer to as order takers. Okay, and the order takers are the ones that they know that when they pick up the phone, that's a fairly educated buyer, and all they're trying to say is, like, do you want fries with that? I mean, that's like as hard as their job gets.
Mhm.
Then there are the others who understand that regardless to who writes the check, you are in business for yourself.
Mhm.
That's something, and so, especially when I'm working with my people who are shifting from corporate into establishing their own business identity or their own brand, that's the first thing they have to learn. I cringe when I hear people in a networking situation who say, hi, my name is Jane Doe and I work for ABC Realty. No, no, because you are not the brand. You want them to remember you because that's the key differentiator. Everything else is on the website. You are the key differentiator in the room at that particular time. So it would be more like, hi, I'm Jane Doe, and I'm passionate about helping people who want to invest and create a legacy through their real estate acquisitions. And at this time, I'm working with ABC Realty.
Mm,
That's
that,
different.
it sure is.
Yeah, that's
It's a,
different.
yeah.
So it's very, very important, again, that you communicate your competence. The second thing is you got to have clear goals, and
Hmm.
your goals far outweigh the goals of the company. I was doing hiring for a legal services firm, and there was a new person that they were starting. I had onboarded their new national director of sales,
Hmm.
and he had had a conversation with this new agent that they brought on. And he came to me and he was all proud. He says, okay, she's going to do 100K in business. I was like, yeah, no. I said, no, don't go with me because you can't do what I'm getting ready to do. You'll get sued. But I'm going to go and have a little girl conversation. And I went and had a conversation with her. And I said, so I heard that, you figure you're going to do 100K. Yes, I am. Okay. Yay for you. So tell me something. What kind of a lifestyle do you want to lead? Are you married or single? And she says, oh, I'm single. Are you looking? Yeah, I'm looking. Okay, so when you think about the man that you want to attract, do you want first class or coach? First class. Okay. And when you start making all of this money, what do you want to do with it? Well, I want to invest in real estate and I want to do this and I want to travel and I want to do that. I said, terrific. Do you really think you can do that with 100K? No. Let's have an agreement. 100K will keep you employed. 200K will get you your lifestyle.
Mm.
And we made a plan. We set her goals and she came out of the gate just because she knew what her goal was.
Ah.
We made her goal more important than the company's goal, which meant every day that she went to work, every meeting that she held, every phone call that she made was building her future. Again, work is what you do to finance who you want to become and who you choose to serve.
Mhm.
So the third thing is accountability and action. Okay. A lot of us have a lot of things that we write down. And it amuses me when I see people go, oh, well, my business plan says that this is what's going to happen. I have a talk that I do that says a business plan without an action and accountability plan is just a wish list. It's just a wish list. Because if you don't put the right people in the right places for the right reasons, you're going to wonder why that plan isn't coming to fruition or why it's taking so long. It's going to affect your retention. It's going to affect your training costs. It's going to affect your bottom line as far as business that you're bringing in. So, those are three things that we have to work with. We have to work with the mindset, the clear goals, and then that accountability and being in action. And again, how
Mhm.
does it show up? Some signs that you may be having a little bit of difficulty. If you've got a revolving door
Mhm.
in your sales team, people come, people go, people come, people go. Okay, inconsistent sales is the immediate trigger, but it also affects your recruiting, training, and retention. So you got
Mhm.
to have the right person in the right role. That high turnover is like a bullet to the brain. You need to understand who your most valuable salesperson is. When I was working in vocational education and tech education, one of the first things that I did was make really bestie friends with the trainers and the techs.
Hmm.
Because I was on the phone with the client and I was creating the action plan, but they were the boots on the ground. They were the ones who would be able to come back and tell me, oh, you know what? You need to talk to this other person because there's another project coming. Oh, you need to call your client because the people in the classroom are grumbling about this, this, this. They're your boots on the ground. You don't separate yourself from those people. Be very, very cognizant of any um, stuff going on between sales and marketing
Ah,
because they all think they're right, but they're right
okay.
for different reasons. So
Right.
marketing is going to talk about algorithms and followers. You can be social media rich and revenue poor. Okay. Sales wants to be able to give the prospect proof of concept. They want you to put facts in behind all of the glitz and the glitter that attracts people to make their job easier. And if you have a firm that does a lot of conferences, trade shows, things like that, select the right people to represent your firm,
Hmm.
because if they're not sales oriented, they're going to spend their time giving away tchotchkes and talking to the people they relate to and not talking to the person who's able to say yes and pull out the credit card. So there's very special training that I do for businesses on how to work a conference or a trade show. That's a
Mm.
special training that needs to occur. Whatever you're doing, if they're just walking, talking brochures, that is not going to serve you when they get on those floors. And again, the sales conversation helps you internally as well. I worked with a wonderful um, mechanical engineer who felt that they were getting passed over for projects and things that they were more than qualified to run. And they were one of the people that people sought out when there was a challenge, but they never got the lead. What we were able to determine is that this individual wasn't speaking the language of the leadership team. They were speaking in a way that made sense to them, but it
Mhm.
wasn't in the way that the lead processed data. She had one manager who was extremely linear and loved to get all of the minutia. There was another manager who just wanted the high level, give me the bullet points, just, that. So what we were able to do is determine which types of reports and presentations went to which person.
Okay.
That person in less than 2 years was able to increase their earnings by 30% and go from being overlooked to being literally uh, a national and global leader in their expertise and writing the types of papers that were presented to the federal government and to global audiences. But it all has to do with how you frame. And the only way you will learn how to frame is to adjust your listening.
Mm.
I know that was a lot.
Wow. Wow. As you were talking, I think that the biggest, the great takeaway for me from what you just shared is that many of us just have the wrong idea of what it means to sell. We have a very simplified idea
We think
of what it's all
transaction.
about. That's
We
right.
just
We
think
think
transaction.
transaction, but it really is quite. I call it a head game. Your head have to be there. There is an understanding and requirement of the psychology of the people that you're dealing with, what they need in order to receive information. And so it's so important that you just don't show up say da da here I am. You have to bring something else along with you in order to uh, really, get and hit the mark in your activity. Okay, so So you have given us kind of the formula for infinite success. If we would just focus our attention and apply with consistency these ideas. So as we draw to a close for our conversation, what would you like to share with us as, your last thought on really selling like you mean to win?
I think that one of the main things is something that I stated a few minutes earlier, which is remember that regardless to who writes the check, you are in business for yourself. So run your career like your corporation.
Hmm.
Make sure that you have clear goals. And if you are indeed that sales manager, that business owner, invest in training for your people that goes beyond the features and benefits. It is so important that the person you engage to work with your team is someone who has already been there and has worked their way up through the various levels. Far too often I go into a firm, and because, as you can tell, I'm a little bit unfiltered, I admit it, but I'm a straight shooter and I dig directly into where do you feel the challenge is. I did a training for Morgan Stanley once, and it was so funny because I did a 90-minute presentation. And as I was talking to the organizer, one of the attendees came up and said, "This woman gave us more in 90 minutes than those other people that you had us sitting with for 3 days." Okay, because you want them to be inspired, motivated, and to see how they can be held accountable for their success. Like I said, nobody ever takes a job to kill themselves to make somebody else's dream come true. So bring in someone who will do more than spew numbers and goals and procedures and scripts. You must be able to train your people to be the best differentiator in the room when they are having these revenue driven conversations. And you must, as a leader, be committed to growing leaders. You
Hmm.
never look at your team as competition, they're an asset.
Mm. That's profound because so many leaders do that. And so, instead of seeing their team as complimenting and bringing that extra oomph to the table, sometimes they're really threatened. And so that's very important to being a highly effective leader. So I've just had, I mean, you've really given us not a smorgasbord. You have given us a true feast. I mean, I could just see that table spread from end to end with so many nuggets and so rich, in terms of how we run our business, how we transition from being in more traditional corporate roles to running our business, and how to really be effective leaders.
Absolutely. And, I also, shameless plug, if you want to get more information on
Yes,
what I offer,
sure.
my website is www.askdsb, ASKDSB. And the reason I wanted to throw that in is because I didn't make that up. My clients came up with that over a decade ago. And they
Hmm.
said, "Well, when we get stuck, what do? We ask DSB." I'm like, "Okay, fine, then we'll use that." And that's kind of how that came up, because I bill myself as a sales manager on demand. So
Hmm.
it's training in sales, it's uh, training in closing and handling objections and networking and all of these other things. When I talk about objections, I call that refusal aversion. I teach them
Hmm.
how to avoid those little objections that they get. And also, I talk about pre qualification. Because I think that you'll find that sometimes your people spend a whole lot of time talking to the absolutely wrong person and too much time on proposals. You don't give away your recipe. You get paid for that.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to them about the results.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the other things that when I'm working with sales teams, we focus on.
Mm. Well, definitely, Dr. Donna. People really, really need to come and check you out. I am so delighted that you joined us because, as I said, it was a spread. It was just a spread. And ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this is just a taste. Dr. Donna is, for lack of better terms, she is like I mean, she is the bomb in this space, and I can tell you, she can help you in so many ways. And so, with that, we'll wrap our first show today, and we'll invite you to come back, Dr. Donna. I would love to have you back again because I know we only got a little taste today. So,
Thank you, Fran. And I really congratulate you on putting this platform together to better serve those people that you have chosen to serve. And I know that if they do tap in on your knowledge and your expertise, they're going to experience a great deal of growth.
thank you. Thank you, Dr. Donna. You be well, and I will see you soon. And thank you, everybody, for joining.